Okay, I'm back. So, let me start this over again. So, the experimental patch. What is it? What's going on? Yada, yada, yada. I have not played on this yet. It broke the game. They had to recall it. So tonight, I can't play on it. And for those of you that don't know, I will be going on vacation next week, so maybe I'll play on this tomorrow, but I'm not going to get much time on this patch until after I get back. But we can still go over the notes and kind of talk about it. I will just say this up front. If you've seen my Twitter, everyone's like, I'm like, oh, look, they buffed off meta heroes, and everyone's like, oh, they did McCree, you dumbass. Oh, and I'm just like, first of all, the McCree change is actually good. And secondly, the McCree change is incredibly small compared to the other changes we're about to see. So, this is an Overwatch 1 patch. And I will also say this before I get started. This is what we should be seeing every 3 weeks to a month. Things just to constantly change the meta. Like, just the fact that Blizzard waits like 2 years before doing anything to change the meta is ridiculous. It should be at max 1 month. So we're going to see a lot of off meta stuff get buffed up, and this is going to promote everything much better. Like, this is what they should have been doing from the start, but apparently, according to that dev interview, they do balance based on popularity. So I understand why these heroes haven't been buffed, but now that you buffed them and there's more options, they can actually deal with what everyone plays. So first of all, Orisa. Weapon spread removed. Alright, this is fucking big. This is actually really big. Bigger than anyone else thinks. Remember her fall off, or her, in Overwatch 1, she doesn't suffer from fall off. This makes her a pretty strong contender for, like, one of the strongest tanks damage-wise. Protective barrier, maximum duration from 20 to 4 seconds. So it only lasts for 4 seconds. Health has been doubled. Cooldown increased to 12 seconds. So, also I'll just say halt. Pull increase from 5 to 7 meters. Halt is fucking ginormous. I don't know if it pulls you to the center all the time or if it's just like a small yank. I don't know, but a 7 meter radius is a 14 meter, like, diameter. It's massive. If you think Junkrat's concussive mine is big, Junkrat's concussive mine is 3 meters big, I believe. Ash's is 5. This is 7 meters is Hammond's slam. So it's massive. As for her barrier, so basically Junkrat's ult 6 meters, it's actually 10 meters. Junkrat's ult's bigger than that. Junkrat's ult also goes down to 50 damage at max. It has very hard fall off. But so maximum duration, obviously this is only up for 4 seconds. Straight up, this kills Bunker. Right? First things must be said. Bunker's gone. Bunker can last for like 4 seconds, and then maybe your other shield can last for a little bit longer. But this does kind of stop. Oh, she puts on a shield, you destroy it. She puts on a shield, you destroy it. No, there's like a 4 second downtime. Oh, she has a shield again. Well, she fortified through that. Like, it's that initial push is now significantly weaker from Orisa's side. The fact that it's 1200 health and it only lasts for 4 seconds. You need Bastion levels of DPS to break through that. If Orisa throws down her shield, it's really weird. This is very strange because when Orisa throws down her shield, don't even fuck with it. That's the truth. Don't even fuck with it. Everyone would have to attack it in 4 seconds for it to be destroyed, and not everyone's going to attack it at the same time, so it's going to live. So at that point, it's so healthy that it's just like, oh, just play around it. It essentially treat it like it lasts for 4 seconds and has infinite health. You need BAP ult to break it? Yeah. You need something massive to break this. That's the weirdest thing about it. Because now it's like, oh, let's get behind her Orisa for 4 seconds and... Alright. Hi. I like the change. It's just I'm gonna have to play against it and see what it really feels like. But it does seem very healthy. Essentially, I mean, this is Reinhardt levels of shield that last for 4 seconds. You need Junkrat because he's a super good shield breaker. Funny story, in Overwatch 1, Soldier has as much DPS as Junkrat, so you need a Junkrat or a Soldier, or an Echo. Echo does basically the same amount of DPS as well. She's at 119 or 118 DPS. So, yeah, I mean, Orisa's, it's really strange. You just basically can't engage her when she has that. She can play the shield game, and you essentially just have to run. It's going to be interesting. The bunker has been destroyed. D.Va, weapon spread reduced by 15%. I forget what the Overwatch 2 change was for D.Va, but wasn't it like weapon spread by like 10%? Either way, D.Va has some of the highest DPS in the game. I'm not fucking with you on that one. Her DPS, if you're within fall-off range, which I think is 10 meters or 15 meters, well, she does have spread. Remember, if we're talking shooting shields, doesn't fucking matter. She's up to 156, I believe. She outdamages all DPS heroes outside of Reaper and Bastion. So this just makes her a little stronger. I wouldn't say it's that big of an issue for me, just because whenever I deal with a D.Va, 8 times out of 10, they're already in my face just fucking shooting me, right? It doesn't really matter when you're that close. Not that big of a deal. Reinhardt can cancel charge. Cool. Cool. Not a big issue. Ball gets knocked back again. This is, I believe, is a full revert. I think this is fine. Knockback is one of the least annoying controls in the game, and I'm not too upset if, you know, someone's knocking me around like with Wrecking Ball. It's not a huge deal. Will this help Wrecking Ball? Obviously, it's a straight up buff, right? They're trying to make something besides Sigma be strong, right? Because shields are just that damn good. I mean, they could nerf shields or they can buff the other tanks, and they're going with buff the other tanks, as well as, like, bridging Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 a little bit closer. So all these changes I'm okay with. It's not that big of a deal. Wrecking Ball and, well, I guess Reinhardt's not a big change. Orisa's a big change, but the nice thing about any type of static variable like a deployable is that you can play around it. So once Orisa throws it down, it's like, oh, I'm out. You kind of disengage. You don't have the movement speed to disengage in Overwatch 1, but bunker's gone. Yeah. So now let's go to damage. Bastion. Weapon spread removed. When we talk about buffs in Overwatch, this is up there as some of the strongest changes you could ever have. This is why when people are like, oh, they buffed Cassidy too, and I'm just like, not compared to the others. Remember, this is not Overwatch 2 Bastion. It's not the slower attack speed, like, more rifle-like Bastion. This is machine gun Bastion with no spread and no recoil. He has harder fall-off than Soldier, but now he quite literally probably has a little bit, at least mid-range, a better gun than Soldier. Yeah, this is a pretty damn big change. He's going to be much more consistent at long range, and in mid range he's actually kind of scary. He can just fucking shoot you down. Now for the critique everyone's upset about, the Cassidy change. Combat roll now grants 50% damage reduction for its 0.4 second duration. So, everyone's go, oh, he's already so strong. Oh, it's training wheels. Oh my god, the hero's so good. Why are they buffing him? Blah, 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 blah. First of all, it's only during combat roll. So at that point, alright, it's kind of like a skill thing. I like that. It's a timing thing. Now, he doesn't just, like, always roll whenever he can. He has to kind of save it because it has some more utility in case he gets in a bad spot. Secondly, we have to look at this change in terms of Overwatch 2, when he loses Flashbang. So he gets Magnetic Grenade instead, right? It's 130 heat-seeking fucking grenade. It seems cheap as shit, but what did that change for Cassidy in regards to roll? Well, it was very common to either roll flash or flash roll, right? It was uncommon for him to engage with it and then close the distance and follow it up immediately. The problem is, without a stun, I guarantee Blizzard has seen that Cassidy players now are extremely less aggressive. Because while a roll and they can't roll and stun and immediately kill someone, they're probably just staying back. Which, at some point, you're just like, yeah, that's fine. But if you're like, no, we want to encourage aggressive behavior with the hero, then this change makes a lot of sense. So now, when Cassidy would roll in Overwatch 2, you'd just kill him. It would be no big deal. Now he gets that initiation where it's like, oh, I can roll in. Maybe I'll take a hit, but I'll survive a little bit. And then I can follow up with, my mechanical skill. In a way, this is just like Projectile Hero. Like, basically, I think Projectile Hero should have 50 armor. They should all be at 250 health for this exact same reason. So essentially, they can engage, and then they can shoot. And the time that it takes from the projectile to get to the hero, it gets buffered by this extra health. And so they actually can, allow their projectiles to meet the hero and kill him. What this does is allows Cassidy to close the distance, almost die, and still be able to fight in some meaningful way without stun. So this essentially allows him to be aggressive, when before, when he loses Flashbang, it can't be aggressive. So this is why I'm fine with it. Also, it's a 0.4 duration. This isn't like he's immortal. Yes, if Tracer sticks him, he can roll at the exact time of detonation, and he can survive it. I think that's really fucking cool. I'm a fan of defensive options. I'm always a fan of defensive options. But the fact that this makes Cassidy more likely to be aggressive on the flank, which is essentially what he needed. I'll just say this, from all of Cassidy's changes, this is actually the most interesting one they've done. And I'm fine. In Overwatch 2 terms. In Overwatch 1 terms, no. He shouldn't have a flashbang and have immortality when he rolls into it. That's a little bit too much. I think I can't overstate that enough. Remember, this is essentially replacing flashbang for being to be able to close distance. That's the purpose of this change, in my mind. It's a good change. Sombra. Damage increase from 8 to 9. What is that? 9 divided by 8? So what, a 12% damage increase? Or is it 8 divided by 9? I always forget. Yeah, 12, whatever. It's the inverse. So 12% damage increase. Hack. Cast time reduced by 0.15 seconds. Hack duration reduced by 2 seconds. Ultimate cost reduced by 15%. That's the weird. I guess they say, hey, if you're only hacked for 3 seconds, the ultimate's a lot weaker, so it should come up more often. Not bad. I don't mind the way Sombra's going. I think all these changes are fine. It definitely removes her, it doesn't remove, it lowers her really annoying part. But it doesn't do the Overwatch 2 thing of reducing her spread and creating this weird passive mechanic where it's like, oh, you're hacked, you take more damage. If you weren't hacked, you would take less damage when compared to Overwatch 1. I think this is a much simpler, cleaner way of doing it. I don't want to say if this Sombra is better than the Overwatch 2 Sombra or not, but it's not bad. I like the cleanliness direction of it and not having some weird passive. Especially a weird passive. So here's what gets me about Overwatch 2 Sombra is that hack lasts for so long and it gives the enemy team your position, which is information is the #1 strength in all of gaming. After that's like logistical things like movement speed, being able to change the battlefield, stuff like that, positioning type stuff. But most important thing is information. And to be completely honest, perfect information means a really fucking boring game. The more information you allow the enemy team to have, the more boring the game will be. So I really like this Sombra better. So Doomfist, whatever. He's getting reworked heavily in Overwatch 2. I guess this makes him a little more viable in Overwatch 1. I can't really tell you the exact effects of a 5-meter increase to Doomfist. I guess he can do a little bit more rollouts, but overall, like, it doesn't change him that much. I'm not going to say it's not a significant change, just because I don't know the full effect of it. But your average Doomfist, maybe he'll do 1 or 2 more things that he couldn't do before. Pharah. So, these are one of the things like this that people are like, oh, whatever, and they roll over. This is actually really strong. Reload now begins 0.3 seconds sooner when out of ammo. Most reloads, and Pharah's reloads, 1.5 seconds. So this goes to 1.2 seconds. She now recovers 20% faster of a reload. Understand if Junkrat if they just said 20% faster reload instead of reload now begins 0.3 seconds sooner when out of ammo, how crazy people would fucking go. They'd go insane. They would say, whoa, 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 he's just going to shoot all the time. But the way this is worded, it's really cunning. I don't know if there's like a glitch with Pharah's animation that maybe it's actually like 1.6, 1.7 seconds. But I'll just pull up the Overwatch wiki. Usually the Overwatch wiki's correct. I've seen them be wrong on a couple things. Let's see if they say anything about her reload. It just says 1.5. So, yeah, this is actually a pretty significant change. This increases her DPS by 20%. Or at least increases her reload by 20%, which makes her DPS higher. Concussive Blast now deals 30 damage on direct hit, deals 50% additional knockback when direct hitting. Sure, I don't mind rewarding accuracy with this. I don't know what this gains her. The only thing we can think of, like, maybe there are times when Pharah needs to follow up on damage, and this would do it. Like, I mean, a direct rocket and then this, like, yeah, Tracer dies, technically. Are you getting hidden those things on a Tracer? Very rarely. Sure, like, this is one of those weird buffs where it's like, okay, sure, I don't mind it. It's at least it requires you to be a little more accurate. You're not just throwing them out all willy-nilly. And you're rewarded for it. Now to Junkrat. So, projectile radius increased from 0.2 to 0.25. This isn't a full revert. OG Junkrat had 0.3 size of his shot. And it looks like, you know, they're like, hey, Junkrat's not that accurate. He can't just shoot shields anymore, which, I'll just say this, if Blizzard truly thought Junkrat was just a shield breaker, they're fucking dumb. Junkrat's not, he's an average shield breaker. Also, no one just wants to shoot shields and no one wants to hold shields up, fuck's sakes. I really hope this carries over to Overwatch 2. I can't tell you what this feels like. Again, the patch broke the game. I can't play it. I'll check right now. Maybe while I was talking. No. Okay. So it's still not out. I really can't say how much. I can put this in big numbers and make it seem scary. Oh, it's a 25. Or sorry, it's a wait. Yeah, it's a 25% increase in projectile size. Whoa! And then I could do it by, like, volume. I could be like, someone with math do volume, but it's going to be like a 40% increase in volume. It's whatever. It helps him against flyers. It's gonna help him everywhere, but I don't know to what extent, because I don't know I don't know during a live game where I'm like, oh, I almost hit that person. Oh, I was 0.05 off from that person. It's really hard to say what is or is not that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, it's great. This is a good buff.
My genius is finally recognized.
Thank you, Sherlock, for gifting a sub to Sheep. I can't. I don't know. I would have to play with it to be like, oh, I definitely feel this change. Now, this. So, in Overwatch 2, they increased Junkrat's throw speed of Steel Trap. I think it was like from 10 to 13 or something. But I think they actually fixed the weight of it, because Aquamarine did a nice little clip of Junkrat throwing his trap with the patch. So this was before it got taken down almost instantly, but he got a nice clip of it.
There we go. Gotcha.
So he can actually whip it pretty far now. So this is like, before, if anyone saw my YouTube video, like, in Overwatch 2, the projectile, like, was thrown a meter farther, maybe 2, not even that. And now it flies, I believe this is 5, so it'd be 10 meters. So I would say this is looking like you can now chuck this twice the distance than you could before. How much that will affect combat, not sure. Can I, now when dueling people at mid-range, maybe throw this at their feet and catch them and use it actively? Yes. Do I think Trap needs more buffs to be more viable? 100% yes. If they allowed Trap to activate when it hits someone, that would be the holy grail, and Junkrat would be amazingly viable. Like, if you could chuck it at a Tracer and it hits her in the face and catches her immediately, I think people would be complaining about Junkrat's control at that point, because he'd be too good, which is bullshit. But that would be amazing. If you could throw a trap at 15 meters and catch people. Will it make him meta in Overwatch 2? Will these two changes make him meta? I don't think so. They definitely help. So this is definitely one of the bigger changes in this patch. Whenever you modify someone's primary attack when that's all they do, like, that's a huge change. Again, looking at the Cassidy change, or even the Doomfist change, yes, their abilities that are on like 4 to 6 to 8 second cooldowns are a little bit buffed, but they still operate mostly the same way. It's not that big of a change, but when it's just like, wait, every single attack has a higher chance of hitting, that's big. Trap is a little bit more usable in active combat. That is the best way I can say it. That could be good. These are steps in the right direction, and for a 10-second ability, first of all, straight up ability, Junkrat's, this trap is the worst ability in Overwatch. Secondly, for a 10-second ability, it is by far the worst ability in Overwatch. If you look at most hero abilities that are 10 seconds, like, they're usually extremely strong to be at that long of a duration, right? They're pretty crazy. So, the fact that we didn't get nerfed with this, fucking great. I was expecting, oh yeah, and then Junkrat loses like 50 health or something stupid. But yes, this is in the right direction. Torb? While this isn't that big of a change, let's do our math. Is that a 9% increase in speed? Not times, you dumbass. Yeah, so it's a 9% increase in attack speed. The other one's a bit bigger. It's above, I'm going to guess it's like 12. 14% increase attack speed. So, rivet gun, 8% faster. Shotgun, 14% faster. This is pretty big. His shotgun's the worst. Yes, Worm. His shotgun is the worst shotgun in the game, and that's because it's paired with overload. So they're just like, oh, it has to be weak. Because if it's strong and you use overload, then it's even stronger, and it doesn't feel fair. Jeff Kaplan said Torb was too strong, and Jeff Goodman, in his latest interview, Jeff Goodman actually denies this, and he says Torb was viable, but they nerfed him because he wasn't popular. So Torb has been not balanced because he's not popular, which is fucking dumb. Again, the fact that Blizzard balances around popularity is insane. All heroes should be equal viability, even on every map. They should have like better and worse maps, but it shouldn't be impossible to play a hero. If it is, redesign the map. It should never favor one hero that much. Whenever you have an answer and you have to do it, that's how you know it's poorly designed. If you're like, oh, Junkrat down 0.1, I have to play Widow. If I don't, I lose. Okay. Then Widow has to change or the map has to change. One of the two. Yeah. So this is pretty big. Support. Orbit Discord, linger duration reduced from 3 to 2. I kind of wish this was 1. I would like, because Zen, and this is personal feelings again, this is good, but why I think it should be 1 is because Zen is a more DPS focused support, he should be, it should be immense risk for Discord to be on some. So he needs to risk a little bit more, and 1 second means people can break it. But I'm fine with it at 2 seconds. And then he gets a snap kick pass, which is fun. Helps him a little bit. Now, there's a question in chat. It's a good question. Not a question, but it says, not a fan of everyone and their brother getting more DPS. So, if you noticed about the DPS in Overwatch, what's getting increased? Technically Orisa, because of her spread. This is actually the scary one, because Orisa has immense mid-range damage already. D.Va kind of gets her DPS increased. Not really. It's not that big of a deal. Weapon spread does matter, but it's not a big deal for D.Va because most of the time she's either in your face or so far away that it's full max fall off, and spread doesn't really fucking matter at that distance. Reinhardt, no DPS increase. Ball, no DPS increase. Weapon spread removed on Bastion. Okay. Yes, his DPS is getting increased, but no one played Bastion because he sucks. That's great. So increase his DPS. This is fine. Cassidy, not getting their DPS increased. Sombra getting her DPS increased, but at the cost of annoyance. It's going to feel better to play into Sombra. So I'm fine with her DPS increasing by, what did we say this was? Like 12%? I'm fine with that for her hack becoming a little bit less useful. And also remember, her ultimate is tied to her hack, so her ultimate's a little less useful now. Doomfist doesn't really increase his DPS. Pharah does increase her DPS, but again was not played as much, right? She's off meta. Junkrat, actually DPS doesn't get an increase at all. You're going to land, I don't know how many more shots, I don't know what percent increase. I will say this, and this is a bit of a skewed stat. If you look at my stats as Junkrat overall, from Season 1 to now, 9 times out of 10, my accuracy is 21 or 22%. And I believe they nerfed him a year or 2 into the game. So it's really hard to say now that... Remember, hopefully I'm getting better all the time. So as my accuracy percent increases, but then they nerfed his hit rate, or his projectile size actually maybe it should have dropped, but it didn't. It's strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should be getting better, but because they nerfed his projectile size, I got maybe a little bit worse. Like, there's a lot of things that should have happened there that didn't. Maybe after this, like, if my hit rate goes up by, like, 2% or something, that's something. But again, DPS not too much increase from this. Torb, DPS has been increased, which is fine. Torb without Sentry Gun is rather low DPS. For those of you that don't know, Torb has some of the lowest DPS in the game. I believe he's at, like, it's almost 100 dead on. So his DPS goes up to 110. 100 dead on is really weak as far as DPS is concerned. That might be the lowest DPS for a damage hero in the game. Now, this is made up by his Sentry Gun. But his Sentry Gun isn't that reliable, but it does add 50 damage a second. 52 damage a second to be technically correct. This means that if Torb's shooting at a shield and his Sentry Gun shooting at a shield, he's doing 150 DPS, which is actually significant. So, I like that they're giving just Torb more damage. I like this. I think this is great. This is what he needs. Because also this allows him to pressure hit scan heroes, which is nice. And then Zenyatta doesn't get any more DPS. Do you think Sombra's clip size should be decreased to 40? My problem with nerfing or buffing Sombra is that I've just not seen her. People are like, oh, Sombra's really strong, and I'm just like, I haven't seen Sombra in like 4 months. I know she's strong, just no one plays her. I know shooting shields used to affect damage done, but does it also affect accuracy? I don't think it does. So I think this is the right direction for everything, especially for the off-meta heroes. Like Torb, Junkrat, Pharah. I consider Sombra off-meta. I don't care if she's played in Overwatch League or whatever. I don't see her on ladder at all. Bastion, great. All of these off-meta heroes are getting buffed, which is... It's really weird to say this, because every game, this is standard. If there are heroes that aren't played because they're weak, they get buffed. It doesn't matter if they're fucking popular or not. You buff them. That's it. Or, you take the strong heroes and you nerf them. You do this every single month. You change everything all at once. You nerf the good heroes, you buff the bad heroes. You fucking shake up the game. Just change shit. Just do something. I get so furious at Blizzard because they're like, oh, we don't know. Oh, but small changes have big effect. It's like, stop trying to think you're fucking intelligent. You don't even know what the fuck you're doing in this game. Just make changes, start learning. Make big changes and start learning more. You have to start doing this. So we should start seeing patches like this every 3 to 4 weeks in Overwatch 2. I hope. Until all heroes are viable at all times. And I know everyone's just going to say, oh, Chro, having all heroes viable all the time is not something that's possible. It's not possible for you, because you're shit. It's possible for me, because I actually know what I'm talking about. You can design heroes in Overwatch to be viable, and I'm not saying, like, equally viable, but right now they're like this, from off-meta to on-meta, and I'm saying something like this. And at least work getting it closer. You don't just look at it and you're like, well, can't solve it, fuck it, and then just give up. Like, I've said this at work, and my managers have said this at work, and we've said this about other people when describing if they can do something or not. They're like, oh, that's kind of hard. We'll see I don't know if we can do that. And it's like, I've never met someone so open to saying they suck at their job. So when everyone, like if the Blizzard developers or streamers are like, you can't do this, Chro, it's not possible to balance everything. I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. It's amazing that you can say you suck at your job and you're still employed. Because as a designer, it's your fucking job to design. And design heroes to be balanced. Fuck popularity. It really upsets me because if you look at Dota, there's no hero favoritism. And if there is, this is the one reason I like pick bans. And I don't like it in Overwatch, but I love it in Dota. Because if the devs fuck up, and they're like, oh, we have favorites. Can you imagine if there's favoritism in Overwatch and we had pick ban? Well, there's favoritism. You just ban the strong heroes every time. And that hero wouldn't get played, and the developers would be forced to balance them. That's what happens in MOBAs. Oh, that's a strong hero? Banned. Whoever picks that hero wins? Banned. Right? And then they're like, oh, I guess we have to balance it. Blizzard doesn't have to deal with that. They don't have to deal with the fact that, oh, this hero that's really good is always banned at this level. I really hate pick ban for Overwatch, but that is one thing that's really strong about that system. So, hopefully everyone becomes more viable. Wouldn't that be amazing? And isn't it strange that now that's a thing? It's almost like I've been saying everyone should be viable all the time. And I've been saying this for like 5-6 years. And no, you know what? I'm crazy. That's a stupid concept. Only every game ever created has always done that. But you know what? Overwatch is different. That's what everyone says. It's not fucking different. It's different because you're fucking morons. It pisses me off so much. But overall, guys, this is great. Even the Cassidy chain. I'm stoked about these chains. These are all great. And I'm not stoked just because it's Junkrat. Even for Pharah, she's not picked much. Even against Junkrat. I see her every now and then, but yeah. Also, Hanzo didn't get buffed somehow. Hanzo always gets a buff in these fucking patches somehow. They're just like, Storm Arrow now looks cooler and has a 2% increased hitbox. And they finally just are like, let's not fuck with Hanzo this time. He usually sneaks in with some buff. Really stupid. But, yeah. That's it.